What is up, guys? AmusementDark here, and today I'm gonna be reviewing Danganronpa 3, Zetsubou Hen, or Despair Side, whichever you prefer, episode 11, which is technically the finale, though we have one more episode that's like Hope Side or something for the Despair Side. Some people have been theorizing that it's gonna be an ultimate conclusion to both Mirai Hen and Zetsubou Hen and all that. But I'm just sitting there like, it's probably gonna be an OVA though, if it's Hope Side. It could be in conclusion because we have Future Side and Despair Side. You would imagine they'd had a Hope Side somewhere. So it could be the ultimate conclusion to DR3 as a whole, the final episode. What if it is, then whatever, that's pretty neat. But yeah, so let's get right into this episode. It wasn't quite super dialogue, well it was, but to me, this episode feels a bit weird to review. I don't think I can talk too much about all of it. I can say a little bit about what goes on in the episode, but there's not much I really care about that happens in this episode. So right off the bat, we see the betrayal of that Sakakura has to do to Munakata, where he's like, yeah, Junko's innocent, and then he leaves, and oh my god, he's just smashing his fist into the wall. There's like blood all over this cracked shit, and his fucking face is just pissed. He's like, I'm gonna kill that bitch. Just continues punching the wall. It's just like, poor, like Sakakura's just a simple man. He just knows how to punch stuff, and like follow orders and that sort of thing. Junko, he's just pissed off so much, and he's just like, your bloody ass hand, and it's just like, aw. And then we see Chisa go in and also say, yeah, Junko's innocent. I think so too. And then this is like when Munakata was like, my naive, I was naive and shit to trust him completely. Everything pointed to her. But yeah, Sakakura thinks it's his fault that the despair apocalypse happened, but I mean, even if you had told Munakata, there's not too much you can do about it. Like, it's happening today. Like, that's it. It's happening today. It's all over today. But anyway, so, back to the Chisa thing. After she says it's innocent, we start hearing this old dialogue we hear at the, end of, the beginning of Despair Side, or was it Mirai Hen? I think it was Despair Side, where this is a story about hope turning into despair or whatever and all that, but you might say it's already ended and all that's left is for the world to turn. And then it like shows a black backgrounded version of the Danganronpa 3 logo and stuff, and it was just like nice comparison to the original episode and the sort of opening. We don't get to see the opening this episode, whatever, I guess. But yeah, the next major thing, I mean, there's a lot of Izuru and Junko talking together this episode, but none of it's too great personally. Like, they talk a little bit about memes, but other than that, there wasn't too much about their talks that I feel like's necessary to bring up in this review. But the major thing, like I said, this is a hard episode for me to review because I don't feel like there's too much I could talk about that is, that I should. But anyway, so yeah, oh shit, I forgot to mention with the intro bit, intro scene before what would normally be the opening, but we just get a title card of Danganronpa 3, is Chisa has the despair enigons when she's hugging Munakata. Munakata and Chisa hug a lot this episode. I think the count was 3 or 4 times. Well, I mean, yeah. So the next major thing is just the beginning of the end. Junko, all of the brainwashed kids, like all of the despaired, kids that fell into despair from the Reserve Corps are now attacking the main building, I'm pretty sure, and they're killing everyone. Like, no survivors, they're just killing everyone that isn't in despair. And while that's going on, Chisa and the rest of, the 77th class, other than Chiaki, who's dead, but there are yellow camellias on her desk. There are yellow camellias, or however the fuck you say it, on her desk. But, you know, so Chisa sort of has this long talk about how they're graduating, how she's gonna miss them, and they're like, teacher, stop being sad. God damn it, Chisa. And, you know, she's like, I have a letter I want to read to you all, and as she's reading it, we see more people getting mass murdered. And then, you know, it cuts back, and she's like, you guys have graduated, but remember, you're gonna be marked as dead and won't be in protective custody, or however you say that word. I'm tired, okay? I record my audio for the reviews first thing after I wake up when the delay happens, guys. I'm sorry. But, no, you know, we see Chisa saying this, and I think it's Nekomaru who says, oh, why would the super high school level despairs, or ultimate despairs, whichever you prefer to use, be in that? And then they laugh, and it's just like really fucked up seeing this, because you know they're despair filled. It's just weird seeing them like this. You know, it then starts going red, and everyone's talking about, like, they have despair eyes and saying their goals. Like, Ibuki says, I'm gonna make the world a happier place with my music. And then the Hiruko, or whatever, I forget dancing bitch's name, but the traditional dancer, the ultimate traditional dancer, she's like, and I'm gonna use my dancing to do that too, and Mihiru is like, you know, I'm gonna take photos of that, and then, for you, and, you know, there's like, Teruteru, who's like, oh, I'm gonna be, I wanna make a load of delicious food for people, like nutritious and delicious food, and he has a bunch of junk food, or at least it looks like junk food. And then, you know, a bunch of people say something. Soda says he wants to stop air pollution or something. And then Nekomaru's just like, I will be supporting all of your dreams. And then, yeah, we then see Chisa, like, be like, you've graduated. And then she blows up the classroom, and it's set on fire and everything. And, yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, Nagato, he says that, I mean, hope will win in the end, so I don't have to worry about falling into despair. I just found that funny, personally. But no, because of this and all that, like, you know, blows up the room, I think we see more Junko and, Izuru talking for a bit. I don't really remember, because normally I watch over the episode entirely again before I record this, but I woke up a bit later than I usually could, and this is the only way to get the review out on the same-ish time as the other two. But yeah, but I don't really care too much about what Junko and Izuru were saying other than their final conversation in the episode. But yeah, we get So we see a bit of the 78th class, so Naegi, Mizuno, Mondo, all of them. But before that, we see Jin Kirigiri. I don't know why I always say his surname. Oh, but yeah, we see him, we see Tengen, and we see Kizakura. And seemingly the beginning-ish of the Future Foundation. I mean, obviously this isn't the founding, because I would imagine the founding is once Munakata, Chisa, Sakakura, Tengen and Kizakura meet up outside, but you know, this is like the very beginning of the Future Foundation, and Jin decides, no, I'm gonna stay here and make a shelter in the old school building. And then, you know, the next real thing that I care about is we see the 78th class, and I've been saying since the time skip happened and we saw Naegi standing there, like, saying his dialogue from the very beginning of Danganronpa 1, you know, before he loses his memories because of Junko. You know, we see that, and then, you know, Junko and Mukuro are standing behind him. But no, we finally get to see a bit more of the 78th class before they lose their memories. Like, I mean, it's only Mizuno and Naegi that talk. I'm not including Junko and Mukuro, by the way, in that. But, you know, it's just like, well, we see, like, Mondo and Fujisaki, I think his name was. The cross-dresser ultimate programmer. You know, they seemingly had the same sort of relationship they were starting to make in Danganronpa 1 before Mondo snapped because of his brother's death. And and you know, gets the dumbbell and just goes to work on Fujisaki's skull. But no, we see that, we see we see everyone screwing in like the screws to the giant ass metal plates. And obviously, if you don't know, this is your first time joining one of my reviews, I'm always in the, or at least I try to always be in the live reaction live streams that Kukalan does, and you know, him and Sun, and I think a couple of people in the chat were all freaking out about how, what? They were the ones that put all the metal plates on the windows? I'm just sitting there like, yeah, we've known this since DR1. We've known this, like, it was, even if you just watch the anime, you know, Junko says that it's funny because you're trying to escape the death trap you made for yourselves, sort of thing, and, like, she says that in the games too. Well, not those exact words, but, you know, that same sort of thing. And, like, does no one remember this? Like, I mean, I know it's not the most important thing, but it's a pretty important thing, at least I would think. I mean, to know that they're the ones that made the shelter. It's not like just Junko made some death bunker. And, like, you know, I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck, guys? Not all of them have got the metal plates yet, and we can see that right at the end. But yeah, like, we see Naegi and Mizuno, obviously. I mean, it makes sense that they'd be a lot closer than when they lost their memories. I mean, I guess they were quite close when they had lost their memories from the 2 years, but I imagine they seemingly are a lot more closer than in DR1. I mean, yeah, that's kind of obvious though, because they spend 2 extra years where the Mizuno and Naegi in DR1 who lost their memories only spend like an extra few days, or at least to them, with each other before Mizuno starts the killing game off. So, you know, god damn it, Mizuno. So, you know, anyway, sorry, it took me forever to say that, but the main thing we see from this scene, other than knowing how, like, seeing a little bit of the 78th class, how they were before the memories were wiped. Like, I've wanted to see this since they first showed Naegi in the anime in Despair Side at all. But yeah, I was just I was happy with it. But we sort of get confirmation of how Naigi's thing works, how Naigi's luck works. I mean, it's kind of been obvious for a while that his luck, while not being on the same extreme level as Komaeda's, it's on a lower level where it's not a load of ridiculous stuff happening around him. It's reasonable things that tend to save his life. That's his sort of luck, because, you know, he slips as Junko throws a wrench to try and hit him in the head, and then, you know, Junko and Mukuro come over and Junko acts like, "Oh, are you okay?" And, you know, he's like, "I'm fine, I just tripped on something." And then Mizuno's like, "Are you really okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And, you know, Junko goes on to say that Naigi's luck is a lot harder to predict than Komaeda's. Well, I find it interesting. I feel like Komaeda's would be a lot harder to, well, predict, because a load of random ridiculous shit happens when he's involved. While Naigi's is like, "Oh, I slipped, and because of this I didn't get hit by a wrench," or the fire extinguisher I was trying to use on Munakata didn't work when I first sprayed it, but then it gets knocked behind him and then it works and knocks him in the head, or, "Oh, the bathroom door is broken, and so you have to do a special way of opening it by lifting up the door and shit." Like, but these all end up saving him somewhat, you know? Like, you know, he almost would have got hit in the head and severely injured, I'd imagine, at the speed that wrench was going, and what the fuck it had done to the, like, wooden pillar it landed into. What else? Right, there we go. You know, the fire extinguisher hits him in the back, hits Munakata back in the head, and that helps Naegi get ready for his tackle or whatever it was. And then, you know, there's, if it wasn't for that door, he probably wouldn't been able to, you know, be like, "No, I wasn't the one that killed Mizuno." You know, because he wouldn't have a need to, like, break the door down if it was in his room. Like, he would know it's his room and all that. And, I mean, I guess it was still possible because of the nameplates and all that. But it's like, I think the main thing is that, you know, is that, you know, the door thing. If it wasn't for that, Naegi probably would have been killed, and, Leon would have, graduated. Well, everyone would have been killed, technically. Unless, Monokuma just ended up deciding, you know what, I said that all of them would die in that, but this was too easy, I want to see some more suffering, or something. I could see that happen with Monokuma, but that ruins his character a bit for me. Anyway, other than that, there's not too much to talk about. This episode wasn't that heavy on things to talk about. Like, I didn't even mention the mass suicide. Shit, yeah. Okay, so after the conversation between Jin, Tengen, and Kizakura was the sort of founding of the future foundation type thing. But, after that, all the students that were killing people, the reserve course students, they get sent a message on their phones, and, you know, Junko's like, "Thank you for everything," and then, Monokuma's Gloomy Sunday, so it shows that she has already got the suicide video ready, and that kind of makes me afraid. That kind of makes me afraid. because that's kind of throwing, like, Junko could be the mastermind in Mirai Hen or Tengen, at the very least, if it's not Junko, because Kodaka loves making Junko the main villain, and I can't blame him for that. Junko's a good character, it's just, she's already dead, like, as far as we know, unless they do this Chisa-Junko swap, and some people were like, well, at the end, you know, it's like Chisa, and then it switches to Junko talking. I'm just saying they're like, no, there's no way they could have swapped by that point. If they had, they would have had to swap, like, before the Naigi scene, and then I'm pretty sure Chisa wouldn't have been able to act, like, that well. Because, I mean, like, so, but because by then, we know Chisa had already left the area, like, we see her, like, leave the photos of the 77th class of having fun in her notebook and let them burn, and she goes away with Munakata and all this. So, I feel like it disproves the theory that, you know, Junko and Chisa switched, but at the same time, it's like, that's some heavy foreshadowing on, especially since we now know that she had the Monokuma's Gloomy Sunday ready before Danganronpa 1 even happened. It's a little bit worrying. But that's, my review, guys. This episode was very good in my opinion. I'm gonna say a 7.5, because while I liked it a lot, and one of the major things I wanted to happen in Despair Side, it hasn't been as good as the last two episodes. I mean, Chiaki's death, I mean, wasn't good, but, you know, it was a good episode. And Mirai Hen's latest episode was pretty good. I kind of wanted to pull a 9, the Mirai Hen episode, but I just said 10, because why not? But I'm going to say 7.5, because it wasn't that great. It was good, but not as good as the last two, and it was kind of a letdown for the final episode of Zetsubou Hen. But then again, there's the Hope Side episode next week that I will review. But no, that's about it, guys. I'm gonna go edit this and hopefully get out on somewhat the same time as the last two episode reviews have been. Anyway, guys, I'm signing out. Peace.